Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'm compelled to get up and speak again because I've listened very intently, and I appreciate what the minister is saying. But Minister, you and I worked together when I was the Solicitor General, and you were the Minister of Justice, and we had some good times traveling the province and pushing through a lot of things. And I remember how adamant at all of these FBTs you were about raising the age of consent. So, we have now 4 provinces that have got this act: Manitoba, Nova Scotia, Ontario, and one other one that comes to mind. So, the lessons are learned in those particular provinces, and I've talked to them. It's interesting when my former colleague from Peace River, January 28th, is in the paper saying, keeping Alberta's children safe from those who will prey on them is a vital function of ALERT. And it was after a bust on child exploitation, and then we had the comment, throwing us a bone. Throwing us a bone. Throwing us a bone would have been bringing this legislation forward as a government bill with a proclamation date. And then he referred to Bill 201, our firemen that are waiting up in the Assembly. Quite frankly, I've been around long enough when the former member Richard Magnus brought this forward for the original bill, and we actually all 3 of us spoke in support of Bill 201, and I'm hoping that the firemen get a proclamation date in regards to their bill, because I think it's darn important. Supported it, worked with the firemen in Calgary on the original bill that I think it was Calgary North Hill, Richard Magnus, who did such incredible work on it. What's interesting to me is for the Solicitor General now to sit and talk about a comment my colleague made about 8 years, and if I had been on this issue of child pornography 8 years ago, it would have probably been passed. Well, let's backtrack a few years. The Amber Alert I brought forward, first in Canada, and then took it right across the country. The high-risk offenders that is in his department right now, doing the thing that was important and monitoring these sex offenders when they're in our neighborhood and hurting our children. I don't see him coming up with anything. Put together the IROC team, the Integrated Response to Organized Crime, to deal with all of these issues. I brought in DECA, the Drug Endangered Children Act, the PCHIP, the Protection of Children Involved in Prostitution. This minister's been there since January. I'd like to know what bright ideas he's brought forward. Mr. Chair, I will accept the fact that the government of the day does not like the idea of a proclamation date. I will even accept the fact on the bill originally it said July 31st, and that might have been pushing the envelope a little bit. Then we brought forward an amendment on December 31st, 2010. The same member got up and talked about the fact that we need to study this. How many lawyers do they have in this government? How many people have to be consulted on the issue of child pornography? We left the regulations open so the Solicitor General could talk to his alert team and use them, or he could use CyberTip if he wanted. So then we said, okay, we'll go to March 31st, 2011. No, can't be done. The Battle River Wainwright colleague over there said, okay, we can have this done. I think he said, I don't have the blues in front of me, by September. So, you know what we're going to do, Mr. Chair? We're going to hold them to their word in September. And I'm looking forward to coming back in the fall session, which is October, I do believe, unless it's changed again. And I'm going to look forward to them bringing forward the regulations. I'm going to look forward to third reading on this particular piece of legislation. And I'm even looking more forward to proclamation. But I'm going to watch, and I'm going to monitor, and I'm going to talk to the people that have talked to me on this particular piece of legislation to hold them accountable, especially when the Minister of Education talks about the fact that they've done more than any other government in this province. Well, I was chair of that task force. I know what Albertans were telling me. I traveled across this province listening to what Albertans told us. we brought forward a very good, concise report, and I want to thank the team that I traveled with because they worked very hard to make sure that what we were doing would make Alberta probably one of the safest provinces to live in. So we are probably closely running out of time. I'll look forward to voting on this. I'll even look more forward to the fact that this government has said that they like this particular piece of legislation. They don't like the proclamation date on this piece of legislation. They need to do more consulting. They need to talk to more people. I'm not sure who they're going to consult. They need to deal with the regulations. Well, the Minister of Justice, the Solicitor General at their next FPT can talk to the provinces, and I would suggest they talk to the Minister responsible in Manitoba, Gord McIntosh. Great guy, worked with him when he was the former Solicitor General in Manitoba. He'll tell them how it's done very succinctly and very easily, so they can keep us abreast on that. Thank you.